My name's Lynn Knights, and I'm the Strength-Based Practice Lead in Adult Social Care in Leicester. And what that means is, so I'm a social worker by background. I'm a team leader. I've been a head of service. So I understand. I've also been a person with lived experience. And so I'm coming at this from lots of different angles in my position now. And I think Mo described it very well. We made a decision to begin looking at our direct payments. And lots of the things you said, Lisa, really resonated with me, and absolutely you too, Jade. And Jade, some of your experiences were the kinds of things people were saying to me when I went along to the workshops with TLAP. So we had started doing a piece of work pre-COVID because we wanted our direct payments to change. But I think I was shocked, as Mo says, not because I thought what we were doing in relation to direct payments was great, or that it was enabling people to have the lives that they wanted to, or that it was within the spirit of the Care Act. We were not that naive, but I was shocked at the extent of our processes and our barriers and the impact we were allowing that to continue to have on everybody's day-to-day lives. So we made a decision with the advice of TLAP, and it was, thank you for that, because it was the right decision. We did something different from the very beginning. We didn't go mob-handed from the council to these workshops. We nominated one person, and that person was me. And I was really nervous because direct payments isn't my area of expertise. It still isn't. We have a personalization lead. It isn't me. So often when we get into the details of direct payments, it will probably happen today. I certainly won't be the expert. I won't know the answers. But actually something that when I sat in that first workshop and listened to people, what that made me realize was how it feels to be in a situation against all of these barriers, not having the answers, not being seen as the expert for one reason or another. And I was able to use the experiences people described to me and trusted me in sharing when they were clearly, rightly able to articulate that what we had been doing at that point was removing. We didn't have any relationships. Everything we were doing was moving away from that trust and making it really hard for people to be able to rely on the support they should be entitled to have in a way that makes sense and makes things easier for them. So from our perspective, I took those experiences back, and what we agreed that we would do is we would start changing some very small but powerful things immediately. So, and I'm going to take you through those just briefly now. So if you could show the slides, please, the letters. So I'm going to show you what we did about our finance letters, because one of the things we heard very much was, and you'll see this in a minute if you move to the first slide, the letter on the left was one of our original finance letters, and the letter on the right was the one that we immediately made changes to. The letter on the right is the one we're using now. It's not perfect. There's definitely improvements we could make to it, but oh, it's so much better than the letter on the left. There's not, and actually I'll go into a couple of practicalities more specifically on the next couple of slides, but essentially the way that that letter was making people feel was heartbreaking. It was upsetting. It was all this dread because of our processes, and it wasn't even working for us. When I took that back and said, you see this letter, somebody shared the actual letter with us, we were like, what? And that was another lesson that we were not on top of all of this. There's lots of different departments of the council not working together with a whole process that wasn't working for us either. So it's a real advantage for us to change things. So next slide, please. And so what you can see here is that we moved away. So we started looking at language, because language and tone are really important to us in building trust. And I had personally committed to doing something about what I'd heard at the workshop. So it was really important to me to make a difference in relation to that, and to my role too, because it's all about, my role is all about strengths. It's about maximizing what's good, building on assets, and removing the barriers. So this is a good example of this. So we looked at an offer of support, which we hadn't included before. So again, the slides on the left are what we were doing previously. The ones on the right are the changed ones. And all of the letters were co-produced. So we took all of our finance letters into the workshops. We asked for suggestions about them, and we took and changed it. We did the same with the review form. And actually, when we changed our review form the way Mo's describing, we were really lucky that people helped us co-produce a leaflet to go, and a very different leaflet to the usual ones we would provide. It gave our communications team kittens in the first instance, because it's very different, not the council way. But it helped people prepare for the difference in going through all of the Care Act questions and everything we normally do, and the adversarial approach, just down to what matters to you and what can we do in relation to that. And this is similar with these letters. So you'll see here that we know that when people are in receipt of support, they're drawing on social care, there's already additional admin involved with all of that. We're still on a journey to reduce that. We're absolutely not there, but we can be a lot friendlier with our approach. And so we, these letters that have just come on screen now, this is not a typo. So the bold and the red actually appeared in our letters, and we were of the opinion this was helpful. It was helpful to say, do not pay your if you do not pay your contribution or misspend the care money, we'll refer your case to the care management team to review. And our finance colleagues thought that was helpful. But actually, and then it may lead to your services being moved to commission care. Absolutely put an end to that completely. And it wasn't even factual. It had come out of an incident in a letter and then was going to everybody. So we took that out, and we committed instead to being clear about what a better explanation about what the information is needed for and when. And I agree. I could just see a comment. I could just see a comment come up. I agree. So scary. And well, you can see I've almost lost words as I'm speaking, but they have gone. And those letters, they're not perfect, but they absolutely, we've looked at our language very much. We've reviewed all of our letters. We are currently building easy read versions as well, because there's some talk earlier about simple everyday language. That is something we absolutely want to work towards in the council and get a much clearer. And we're doing that together with people. So we've adopted making it real. We are going to continue everyday co-production, being able to really hear in advance what matters, and not do things like this, not develop letters that we think are helpful between different sections, but do that in advance with people and get it right in the first place based on making it real. And just finally, we know these letters, like I said, are not perfect, but they are working a lot better than they did. People are calling us more. We're having more of those conversations. We're hearing less complaints generally. And what we're also seeing is we're seeing a difference in those relationships building and that general trust. And that will help us all get to the point where we want to be, with direct payments working in the way that it should. And thank you.